The engines, and of course that's a pretty important part of any team. What, in your view, makes this Stirling engine such a good product?
Well, basically our undying commitment to quality and Victory Team giving us the ability to do our job to the best of our ability. We build a product that is extremely reliable, and reliability is what wins races.
Right then, some people would say that you're 160 horsepower down now per engine, and although you're doing well in this year's championship, you're going to have to do something about that soon with the Lamborghinis. What do you say?
Oh, definitely Lamborghini at this particular point is making a little bit more horsepower than we are. To realize is, you know, you have horsepower, but you have to be able to use the horsepower. We are basically winning the championship without the use of transmissions in the #2 boat.
That's right, we've been talking about your crew, because week to week they prepare your boat and they make sure that everything's in running order. It's very important, isn't it, to have a crew like that behind you?
I think we are very blessed, me and Felix, because we have an exceptional crew that have been looking after us since we started in the UIM Class 1 back in 1993, and they really don't get the credit. We try to give them as much as credit as possible. When we get the opportunity, we start to win. We started winning Prix in here in Arendal a year ago. So yes, all the wins they contribute a hell of a lot. I mean, we are just part of maybe less than 5%, but they do the 95% for us to prepare the boat, get it in shape, and they do all the testing, by the way, when we're away.
So clearly then, an awful lot behind the scenes of a successful team. The man responsible for bringing Class 1 racing to Norway is Andreas Ugland, delighted that Arendal was voted second best venue in 1994.
Well, first of all, I think we were honored just to be a second, you know, to Dubai, so that was a good start to the races. This year they'll try and do it even better, so...
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. Now then, let's talk about Andreas Ugland and his 1995 campaign. We haven't seen too much of you.
No, you haven't. I've been quite busy with quite a few things with my company, and it's taken a little too much time. So our guest appearances will be here and there, unfortunately, this year. So we are sort of running as guests of all of you, and appreciate it. But of course, we don't get any points or anything towards the World Championship.
Sure, and maybe we'll see a little more of Andreas Ugland in 1996, perhaps.
Yes, I think so.
So Andreas Ugland then not in contention for points on this occasion. Luca Ferrari, however, is. He needs them badly, as do the rest. Well, Luca Ferrari, most people will say that if you don't win here this weekend, then your championship chances have gone. Do you agree?
Yes, it's possible, because we have a little performance in more with the gearbox. Here in Arendal, the circuit is half inside the channel and half is outside. Outside is possible that is rough, and inside is very, very flat. And with a gearbox, I think that our boat and Bilbao boat have a little chance more, because with the gearbox you can have the perfect propeller in all the circuit.
Maybe no. We had after Saint-Tropez and Agrigento and Gallipoli, and in all the three races we had engines problems or exhaust problems. So it doesn't depend from really from the boat, but from technical part. We will see here.
This is a big question. I think for the pole position, I think it's okay. I have a good chance to the finish win, but for the rest is too difficult, because before I have very bad motors. Now I think I have good motors, and I try to win. Well, Steve Curtis on board with Bilbao. It's a few tips for No Chum, was it?
Well, not really, just having a chat. I haven't seen him for a while, so he was just telling me about the new boat. Apparently it's running very well, and it's good to see it.
It certainly is, and because he's got some work to do in this championship.
Yeah, he's got an awful lot of catching up to do.
Felix and Said are really running well and seem to be running away with the championship. But obviously they were going to have a few teething problems with the new boat, but they think they've sorted those out, and now they're just down to final prop testing.
Yeah, they're putting some effort into this one, aren't they? I mean, there's nothing the Italians like worse than being beaten.
No, they don't like being beaten at all, so they're putting a lot of effort into it. Apparently they've brought here 10 sets of propellers that they want to get tested really before Eduardo turns up later on this afternoon.
Well, everything is possible, but I think Said ran far away from everybody, and I believe that when I said that the victory team can win the world championship. I think now, you know, just the rest of the race is that we're trying to finish, you know, just in the front, and we're trying to get the best, better points than what we have right now. We try to finish like second in the world and the overall, you know.
Well, Max, you won the pole position last time out. Can you go one better this time?
Yeah, I think so. Arendal is perfect for my boat because it's very flat, and I think about the race. It's more difficulty for me to have a big result because in Arendal is a typical two different race. One race inside where the sea is flat, is a fjord, and outside, I remember last year, it's very big waves, rough, and all boat with the gearbox to have a very advantage. It's very important for me to finish the race, to take points, and I am sure in the pole position I give 100% my possibility.
Oh, Randy says, I think Agrigento proved that number 7 was up and running without the fin and functioning well. How's it looking this week?
Well, we hope everything's okay. The boat seems to be running fine. We just got in here about an hour ago, so hopefully tomorrow we can test and make sure everything's okay.
Anything you've been able to do to the boat to make it that little bit quicker, that the speed that you need?
Yeah, we're going to try a couple things tomorrow in testing and see if it works out, but we'll try tomorrow and see how it works, and then if it does work well tomorrow, we'll try them on Sunday.
Because you can get some funny old water here, can't you?
Yeah, you can. I got a feeling it's going to be pretty rompy on the outside and flat as can be on the inside, so that should work out okay for us, though. I think it'll give us a good shot at it.
So rough on the outside, smooth on the inside, ready made for gearboxes.
That's kind of what we're hoping.
But while they're all prepared for the battle on the water, there are a few discussions going on elsewhere. So you've recently prepared a report for the promoter of Class 1 about the 1995 season so far. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I think so. We remember all of us in Cuba. We have a meeting with Mauro Ravenna and also with Rolf Forling, and we are negotiating with him the future of Offshore, and we are not satisfied how they're running this year. And we agreed, all of us, with the victory team. After 4 heats with Cuba and Saint-Tropez and Agrigento and Gallipoli, we're going to make a report. And we make our own report to Mr. Ravenna and copy to all WOC members. And all this report is talking about 3 important things: about administration, organization, about safety, and about TV coverage. And this report was prepared by 3 members, we call it 3 source: Dubai International Marine Club, also Victory Team, and DubaiTV. And we already handed to Mr. Ravenna, and he is very pleased with the report, and he said we'll sit together and we negotiate. And I think so if there's something wrong in the report or something missing, we'll try to be avoided in future.
Mr. Ravenna, promoter of the Class 1 Offshore Championships, you received a report from Victory Team, Dubai International Marine Club and DubaiTV. What are your thoughts and reaction?
Sì, l'ho ricevuto.
Yes, I received the report last night. It's 38 pages. I tried to read it and digest it, but it contains many points on which I have my opinions also. I want to make it clear, though, all reports are welcomed by me. We need to sit around the table with WOC and discuss in more detail. I want to remind you that it has been a very hard year for me, especially for motorized sports, because of the economic situation worldwide.
But I have been satisfied by two things, that of communication and that of people participation. When we had the boat parade here today, there were about 80 to 100,000 people, all with young children and in a party mood. That is really pleasing to see. We have a lot of work to do, I know, especially in security and organization, and in achieving more for the teams. We also have to work on communications, but miracles don't happen overnight. We have to build with a dedicated team and people who will help and support me. But please recognize this year I have had to make a lot of sacrifices, financially, personally and physically. As I said, all comments are welcome, and I know there has been a lot of small talk. In the depth of the report, there are a lot of good aspects for myself and for WOC. I will evaluate these points and discuss them later, because at the moment I have to concentrate on Arendal, Ostend and Dubai. We have to have good races there. Boat number 2, Saeed Altar and Felix Sorales, are fighting for the world title, and I'm very happy about this, because they are serious and professional men who are flying the Dubai flag. There are some confusion about my plans for the future, but they are solid. I am now going to have a meeting with the drivers to discuss the calendar for 1996. If all the partners in this World Championship remain as close to the series as they were this year, I'm sure we'll overcome all the difficulties, and we will come up next year smiling with new teams, including the Americans. These are my opinions, but there are many things to consider. I appreciate the work and the professionalism around me. I appreciate the Victory team and Dubai. They mean a lot to me. They come from far away. They're a 3-boat team. They're professionals. In the level of organisation in their team, media and planning, which they have been achieving for years, in their investments, they have the opportunity to make serious guarantees, thus allowing the sport to go forward.
Lo valuteremo e ne discuteremo. Per ora c'è Arendal, poi c'è Ostenda e poi c'è Dubai.
So from the politics off the water to the action on the water, we move on to pole position, the first waterborne action of the weekend. Now then, that's a division where the Victory team really haven't been doing that well this season. 2 seconds by Saeed Altar and Felix Sorales, the sum total of their results so far. That's a championship led by Giancarlo Corbelli in Power Marine number 16, and as always, the runs down the pole position kilometre is tight. And fastest down the course at the end of 2 runs, number 24, Bilbacadi, Lamberto Leone and Eduardo Poli, just 16.200 seconds. That's an average speed of 135.24 miles per hour. 20 points then for the Italians. Second on the day, 4th round winners, Gianluigi Coletti and Massimo Lippi, Big Expo, number 22. Their time, 16.237 seconds, so 15 points for them, and just 0.037 of 1 second, the difference there. Pretty close. And third down the run, Victory 2, Saeed Altar and Felix Sorales, the overall leaders in the Grand Prix Championship, of course. Forward with them. Their time at the end of the run, 16.329 seconds. That's 133.57 miles per hour. And 12 points. So they stay in 5th place in the pole position championship.
Overall then, number 16, Power Marine, still leads with 65 points, but with a reduced margin. Out 1 to second, go Leone and Polly on 56 points. Good day for them. And third, Massimo Lippi, another good day for an Italian, up 1 with 50 points. Okay, Eduardo Polly and Lamberto Leone, congratulations, great run today.
Well, thank you, we deserve them.
Now there's 2 seconds for you in pole position, now a first. How about the Grand Prix tomorrow?
Well, we intend to win it, no discussion about it. Like, I think we would have won it easily in Agrigento, I mean easily, with all the competition strong that we have. If we don't have any problems with the boat, which we hope we won't, we plan to win it, especially here in Norway. You know, it's my second country.
Lamberto, you did a lot of practicing yesterday with props and so forth. It's all paid off today.
Yeah, the prop today is I am very happy because the prop is very nice, it's very quick. I have one good speed. I don't believe now on my speed, but I am very happy, thank you.
Okay, you weren't sure yesterday if you could probably get somewhere in this championship, but you must be more happy now.
I am happy, but I am sure that I don't race for win the championship, I race for win the race, because of the world champions now is too long way for me, a long point. I try to win one or two races before the end of the season.
Yeah, anyway, it's a great run for you today, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, well that's it from Norway today. It started to rain, so we're not going to be around too long. Anyway, Grand Prix action is still to come, of course, this weekend. Now then, is Lamberto Leone, after his performance today, going to win his first Grand Prix of the season? Or is Luca Ferrari going to make it too? Or will Saeed Altari and Felix Morales go home with one hand on that trophy? I don't know. You can find out on Monday on EDTV when we bring you all the best action of the Grand Prix. See you then.
ودائما هناك محطات غنائية نختارها لكم لتفصل بين برامجنا. من هذه المحطات أغنية لأنغام، تعالوا نتابعها معا.
Welcome to Offshore Powerboating. Now we're in Arendal, Norway, and I can tell you this is a beautiful country and they're beautiful people playing host to the 5th round of the Class 1 World Championship. And it's small wonder that this town was awarded the Nostra Prize in 1992 as one of the country's most picturesque and best preserved natural gems. The colourful wooden houses are the very soul of the town. The evidence of Arendal's 300-year colourful history is much in evidence. Baroque, Empire, and Biedermeier dominate the architecture. But there's also a great naval tradition here. For centuries, 70% of Norway's iron ore, plus a thriving timber trade, made the port one of the biggest in northern Europe. It's also easy to see why this is one of Norway's most popular holiday destinations. The varied scenery and the proud regional traditions create an harmonic environment. And in the summer, it's warm too. Except when the snowmaking machine comes to town, that is. Quite simply then, this is just a nice place to be at any time. A sort of restful time warp, left behind by the increasing pace of the world. Skiing in the winter, holidaying in the summer, and long may it stay so. The boats arrived in Arendal with just 11 of the decimated 1995 fleet remaining. Having said that, any one of 9 of them are capable of winning a Grand Prix, so there'll be no easy rides, that's for sure. Thankfully, unlike Agrigento, there's been a little more time to get the 4th round breakages repaired. And with points hard to come by, as always mid-season, the extra time is welcome. Ensures every team will produce the best possible performance. And perhaps, especially for the Victory team, it's essential to win here. They've applied great pressure during the season to the rest of the crews. They lead the championship, and they must win again to keep the pressure on those following behind. As always, plenty of testing to make sure when the key is turned on Grand Prix day and on pole position day that everything runs smoothly.
When it comes to professionalism, Class 1 powerboating is often compared to Formula 1 motor racing, but when it comes to reaching the people, Class 1 is definitely the party.
Well, although winning the Class 1 championship is very important for the Dubai team, creating an awareness of Dubai, and in fact the UAE, is equally as important. There's a huge media machine in place to do just that. So let's see if it's working. Excuse me, do you know where the Victory team comes from?
Dubai.
Do you know where the Victory team comes from?
Dubai?
Can you tell me where the Victory team comes from?
From Dubai?
It comes from Dubai.
Can you tell me what UAE means?
United Arab Emirates.
Do you know where the Victory team come from?
Dubai.
Part of the Arab Emirates. I've been at your airport once. It's a beautiful airport.
What can you tell me about Dubai?
It's a very nice country. I've been there.
Did you like it?
Yes, very nice.
What was the best thing about Dubai?
The hotels.
Dubai is in the Arabian Emirates, isn't it? Okay.
Do you know, can you tell me if they have a powerboat team?
Powerboat? What is that? Oh, they have 3 boats here, haven't they?
Do you know what the name of the team is?
Yes, I do. Victory.
Would you like to go to Dubai one day?
Yes, very much. From Dubai?
Well, the media machine then working pretty well off the water, and how the team's going to get on the water. All that coming up very shortly. Before that, though, there's time for the customary brief for the pilots. An important part of any Grand Prix, but perhaps even more so in Arendal. Here, almost everyone owns a boat. Most will be using them to watch the race, as was the case last year. So the course must be heavily defined, as will the craggy outcrops associated with the fjords here. Caution's the name of the game.
You know, so you should not engage with a boat which has just about your same speed, let's say, because it doesn't make a big difference. Of course, if a boat, you know, it's much slower, you can, of course, overtake him, taking into consideration that you are in a narrow area, in a channel, there are spectators, you know. What?
Ready for the first action on the water then, including former Davis Cup tennis star Adriano Panatta in San Orsollo, number 21. Lamberto Leone, Eduardo Poli, number 24, Bilba. Very quick boat. Will it be as quick as number 1, Peretti in the pole position competition? Max Lippi then, 22. You know, he won the last competition in Agrigento 3 weeks ago. And this, of course, a competition in which the Victory team not done quite so well this season. Won the championship last year in the shape of this man, number 7, Andy Sisson, and this boat. Number 7 still without its fin following the accident in Gallipoli. Championship leader, number 16, Power Marine, Giancarlo Corbelli and Alberto Diradoni. So it's the last year's winners of the championship, along with the tennis star, that lead the boats out. Well, Brazil get better each event, but yet really to succeed in either the pole position or the Grand Prix. Championship leaders there, number 2. As championship leaders in the Grand Prix. Peretti, his chance coming up this weekend. And fastest down the course at the end of 2 runs, number 24, Bilbacadi, Lamberto Leone and Eduardo Poli, just 16.200 seconds. That's an average speed of 135.24 miles per hour. 20 points then for the Italians. And second on the day, 4th round winners, Gianluigi Coletti and Massimo Lippi, Big Expo, number 22. Their time, 16.237 seconds, so 15 points for them. And just 0.037 of 1 second, the difference there. Pretty close. And third down the run, Victory 2, Saeed Altar and Felix Sorellis, the overall leaders in the Grand Prix Championship, of course. On board with them. Their time at the end of the run, 16.329 seconds. That's 133.57 miles per hour. And 12 points. So they stay in 5th place in the pole position championship.
Overall then, number 16, Power Marine, still leads with 65 points, but with a reduced margin. Up 1 to second go Leone and Polly on 56 points. Good day for them. And third, Massimo Lippi, another good day for an Italian, up 1 with 50 points.
In winter, everywhere here is covered in snow and ice. But when the summer gets hot and the action gets hotter, there's just one way to keep you cool. With their long maritime history, all the Norwegians know lots about boating. So let's ask the experts who's going to win.
It must be another victory. Maybe Brazil.
Bilbao, or number 2 in victory team.
Number 2, I think.
Oh, I don't know.
No favourites?
No.
For you?
Victory team.
Which one? 2, 3 or 7?
2.
Hope for Ugland.
Ugland? And for you?
I hope for Ugland, but I don't believe it.
And for you?
I hope for Ugland too, but I think victory team.
Bilbao something. Bilbao? And for you?
I don't know. No, I don't know.
Ugland. Ugland, yes.
Victory will win.
Who's your predictions for today?
Well, we don't know. We just came to see the boats. We're from America and just had been coming back to our my family's hometown and looking for a great day. My son really likes the boats.
Ugland.
I think Bilbao.
The water is very good today.
So you're keeping your options open?
Yeah, I hope this victory team win. I don't know. Thanks.
Victory team number 2.
Okay, I wish that the victory will win today.
I wish and I hope Khalfan win today because wind is gonna help him on the race, and for Said al-Tahir he gonna. I hope even for him to win because he actually got the first position. If he don't have it here, he's gonna have it in Austin or in Dubai. And I wish for all victory team a good luck.
Victory 2.
I wish victory team.
Number 2 will be first. Number 3 will be second. Number 7 third. Victory 2 of Bilbao.
A mixed bag of views then on the possible winners for the Grand Prix, and rightly so. Victory 2 with Said al-Tahir and Felix Morales may lead this championship by 60-odd points, but the championship surely not over yet. So the teams then make their way downstream, as it were, under the bridge, ready for the off. And this, one of the most picturesque scenes, one of the most picturesque venues in the Class 1 calendar, that's for sure. Big crowds again here in Arendal. Huge crowds last year, huge crowds this year, lining the banks either side as the crews make their way towards the start. Well, there they are. They get to the milling area and will mill in anti-clockwise direction, as is the rule of the UIM, before they will receive the yellow flag, which will take them into line, and the green flag that will set them on their way. Well, the conditions not looking as bad as was forecasting something around 1.5 meters, and the orange flare there, and there's just a couple of minutes now to go. So yes, 1.5 meters forecast. Well, it doesn't look quite like that to me. Having said that, here in the north, the northern seas, the swells can be cruel. That's the course. 1 short lap today, 6 long, 158.7 miles. Flat on the inside of the course, not quite so flat on the outside. A testing course. But there's the yellow flag and the green flag, so they're underway. It's 12 on the line at 1 o'clock for the start. The 1995 Class 1 World Offshore Powerboat Championship goes past the halfway mark then. Round 5 out of 8 is underway. Just one non-starter here, that's the number 13, Brazil. So once again, the pressure on the Italians in the shape of number 1, Luca Ferrari and Vincenzo Poli, and number 24, Bilba, Lamberto Leone and Eduardo Poli. They trail the championship leaders, Victory 2, Saeed Altair and Felix Morales then, by that 60 points, and 82 points respectively, with Victory 3, Carl Panarev and Ed Collier sandwiched in between them. So it is essential that the Italians get a good start. Well, they're there, but alongside number 2, Saeed Altair and Felix Morales, that's the gap. So it's Lamberto Leone who's gone off to a very, very quick start. And you have to say the Italians fancying their chances here. Leone and Ferrari out of the blocks very, very quickly indeed. Both run the 4-speed gearboxes, of course, and that's a definite advantage at this part of the race. Getting them away smartly, but no question in my mind that well, we saw it there, the blue boat of Saeed Altair and Felix Morales actually in second position now, so keeping very, very much in touch with this. This is Luca Ferrari, possibly the only man who can challenge the Victory team in this 1995 championship, but really he has to win here today. No confirmation there really that the conditions aren't as bad. Well, here comes Ferretti. So Ferretti, it looks to me as if he's gone past number 2. Now this is the boat that relishes these swells. You can see they're there. Back on board then with number 2. Felix Morales this side, Saeed Altair far side. Now a chance to see that nothing in Class 1 offshore powerboat racing is smooth. That's for certain. So 4-speed gearboxes, first and second. No gearboxes, third. It's a good performance again by the number 2 Victory crew. And challenging once more from the outside of the course. Well, Felix Morales, you have to say, knows what it's about on throttles. Saeed Altair knows what it's about with the steering wheel. They will certainly not let these two get away. So Ferretti then now challenges for the lead. Well, this is exactly where he needs to be. He needs the 30 points so desperately. So just gets ahead of Lamberto Leone and Eduardo Poli there. They kept towards the run-in at the end of lap 1. But Leone too, he told me before racing began today, there was absolutely no way that he was going to do Luca Ferrari any favours, and he proves it there. Lamberto Leone goes back into the lead. Well, camera angles or not, and you have to be very careful with those. This is certainly big pressure here from the 2 Italians. Well, the danger is they'll break each other. We've seen that happen so many times in Class 1 offshore powerboat racing. Racing each other like that with no respect for the machinery usually leads to big disasters. Anyway, not at the moment. The Italians lead from the Victory team in 3rd place in the shape of number 2 still. No sign of the pack behind. It's my belief that these are beginning to pull away a little bit, as is Ferrari then, number 1 with Vincenzo Poli. Good shot there, the Tenkara hull, powered by the 2 new Lamborghini engines for 1995. Remember, 1,060 horsepower each, so it's 2,120 horsepower to set these boats on their way. That's the 2 leaders. They're coming in then at the end of lap 1. Still not there yet. It's Ferretti from Leone, from Altair. Oh, and Jacopo Carane into 4th position. He'll be pleased with that. Achille is 5th, that's number 8. Behind them, Calpan, Hareb and Ed Collier. They too will be quite pleased. No real luck for the number 3 Victory crew since their World Championship win, of course, in 1993. That's Massimo Lippi, last week's pole position winner. 2nd in pole position here. 3rd in the Grand Prix at
last time out at Agrigento, so really a little bit for him to do here. That's Andreas Ugland and Jan Hilsted. Good to see them back racing. This is the run-in then to the line at the end of lap 1. And the 3 boats that have dominated this first lap so far still there. But it's Lamberto Leone who's got the edge over Luca Ferrari. So it's the red boat that leads the white boat, just, I think. We're on number 2 at the moment. And my goodness, how well they've hung in there on this lap. Yes, and it is Lamberto Leone and Eduardo Poli who are just getting ahead on this very flat section. Well, perhaps you'd expect that over the slightly bigger Tenkara hull of Luca Ferrari. Oh, what a great shot that is. This is the end of lap 1. That will be 11.73 of the 158.7 miles completed. Well, there's so little in it. So, it's Lamberto Leone who gets to the line now. There it is. So he goes into lap 2 in the lead. 1 pole position yesterday. So in very, very good form here. Norberto Ferretti just dropping back a fraction. So work for him to do. Oh, and a change of tactic there by number 2. Felix Sorales and Saeed Ottar deciding the slightly longer route might be the best one here. Well, we'll see if that pays off. Jacopo Crane, remember, was 4. For number 4, there he is. Jolly Motors on the run-in. Kalfan Hareb and Ed Collier there putting in a good burst, taking them closer to Crane. This is Max Lippi, number 22. Let's take a look at some of those times then. 6 minutes and 30 it was for Leone and Poli. 108.42 miles per hour. And 6.34, 107.32 for Ferrari. Victory 2 Altair and Sorelli's 6.37 minutes, 106.51. So a pretty quick start to this race. San Orsoro then, Panata, well down. 68.2 miles per hour for him on the first lap. So that is a very long way behind. Must be a problem there. On the run out then, well, it looks to me as if Saeed Altair and Felix Sorales, number 2, got a little closer to Ferrari on that. Yes, they have, certainly. So the pressure here on the Italian and the number 2 Victory squad that lead the championship in no mood to get off the top of that pile. Well, of course they won't today because they're 60 points ahead and 30 for a win on the table. Oh, and that's the reason why the pressure's on the boys in blue. That's Achille right up behind Kalfan Hareb. The challenge here for the number 7 Victory crew, Randy Sisson and Hamad Bouhaleba, go past Max Lippi. Well, I don't quite know what the problem was in that boat, if in fact you can call it a problem, but it was quite a slow start in view of the fact they have gearboxes. But anyway, they start their run as the teams now head out onto the second lap. So number 7 then, starting their run towards the front. And my goodness, they need a point or two. Hasn't been the classic of seasons for them. Remember, they won pole position last year, but things not gone their way this year. But that's the way Class 1 powerboat racing is. That's the way any powerboat racing is. That's probably the way any sport is. So lap 2 then, it's still number 24 who leads. Ground speed, we're told 107.68 miles per hour, so a fraction down out here, if you can call 1 mile an hour a fraction. And Achille it is now that takes on number 16 Power Marine. Well, he turned very, very tightly there indeed, did Domenico Achille. I'm not sure what that was all about. But this is the lead, and it looks to me as if Felix Sorales and Saeed Altair are making a break again to try and split the Italians. That picture just before this one indicate, well, there it is. That's the confirmation that Luca Ferrari not having it all his own way here. The 1994 world champion, so desperate to hold on to that that championship. Remember, Norberto Ferretti not in the boat with him this year, so he's on his own, as it were, from last year's team, and with Vincenzo Poli on board. Eduardo Poli, that's Vincenzo's uncle, on board here, along with Lamberto Leone, and I can't remember quite how old he is now, but he must be around the 50 mark. Eduardo Poli, been in the game for a very, very long time. for a number of years now has been starved of the success that many would say he deserves. Well, he could certainly do something about that today. And Leone without a win since 1993 in the Grand Prix. Not so for Ferretti. And Ferretti then begins to pull away from number 2. That's Felix Sorales and Saeed Al-Tayeb. So this really has been a seesaw throughout the first 18, 19 miles of this race. Apart from the lead, Leone has got that most certainly, but behind there's a lot of chopping and changing that we can't see, and particularly here in second and third. This really is very good offshore powerboat racing indeed, and this course a very testing one. That's number 3 then, Kalpan Hareb and Ed Collier. So then they are in 4th position, I'm led to believe, and if that's so, then I think as this race goes on they may be able to improve very slightly on that. The boat possibly a little old now for this campaigning. The last couple of years I've seen these boats increase by some 10 to 15 miles an hour. A little different from when number 3 won the campaign in 1993. Jacopo Corraine then, not too much for him to celebrate this season apart from his 3rd in Cuba, the very first race of the season. Dogged with mechanical gremlins since then. Once more though, we're getting to an end of lap this time. It's the end of lap 2, and the turn there from the island and the slightly choppier conditions, slightly more swelly conditions, perhaps I should describe them as, into the flatter water. Well, we saw at this point of the course last time, this is what Leone and Polly liked. They pulled away. Ferretti was left a little last time, but he's still second. That's the boat in 3rd position, number 2. Oh, and under pressure, Jacopo Corraine, and right behind him, Achille Motors. So some more good Italian performances here following the 2 leaders. That's Giancarlo Corbelli and Alberto Diradoni, number 16, pole position leaders. Randy Sissom and Hamad Bouhaleba still making their mark on this race. That dreadful start, but beginning now to pile up the pressure just a little bit. And Max Lippi, number 22, was in 9th position. Well, he's still around that. 10th position then for Andreas Ugland, number 9. I was telling you about that wonderful scenery in the big crowds. This is where you can really see it. The boat's very, very close to the edge here. When I say to the edge, I mean to the edge of their speed limits, and also to the edge of the water, because these channels are quite narrow. So that was the point of yesterday's pilot briefing, in telling them that they have to stick very, very clearly to these defined channels. Hundreds of boats, probably thousands of boats here watching this spectacle. Remember the race here last year almost went, well it did, went all the way to the wire. And this was the team that won it, number 2. That's Felix Sorales and Saeed Al-Tayeb, and that began a run of races that almost took them to the title last year, but not quite. It will surely take them to the title this year, because they have 3 wins in the Grand Prix already. This would be 4 if they could do it. This is the man then that leads at the end of lap 2, and he too could be on a unique occasion, because he won pole position yesterday, and if he could win the Grand Prix today, he would be the first man, or the first crew rather, to win pole position and the Grand Prix in one weekend. That has never been achieved, even by the Victory team. So big incentives here for number 24. He leads. Ferretti there second, still number 2. Victory 2 is 3rd. So who's 4th? Well, 4th boat yet to come in. This is how quick the first... Oh, and it's number 3. So it's Kalpan Hareb and Ed Collier who move up to 3rd position. Great lap for them. So that's up 2 for them. Out for Achille. Number 8 is gone. And here comes Sissom and Bouhaleba. So they've moved up. So they will be, I think, in 8th or 7th position. Anyway, we'll check on that very shortly. This is Ugland, and nowhere near the form that he displayed here last year, but a little rusty perhaps for both him and the boat at not campaigning too much of the 1995 tour. Well, sad sight there as Achille goes out, Domenico Achille rather, one of the favourites of any Grand Prix venue. He really is a great guy, been around for a few years, was runner-up in 1992 in the World Class 1 Championship, but really hasn't been able to do too much this season. He had that horrendous crash at Saint-Tropez that could have cost him so dearly. Cost him with the boat, could have cost him with injuries. But of course these crews these days in the safety cells are pretty safe. Right, time's coming through then. Number 24 through in 2010, that's 107.6 miles per hour. Number 1 in 105.74 miles per hour. Number 2, 104.87 miles per hour at the end of that lap. So number 24 then, Bilba and Polly pulling away. That's number 7, now at 105.37 miles per hour. So he's the second fastest on the course. So Randy Sisson and Hamid Bouheleba, second fastest on the course at the moment. Now that could be interesting because they've certainly got on a roll since that first lap. So back with the lead then, and as they head towards those bits of rolling swells again, they really aren't too much to bother these crews, but it does seem to slightly slow number 24. They pick it up most certainly on the inside of the island where it's very, very flat. You can see that extra length of Ferretti number 1. Now then, what can he do about this? He needs to win. He was a long way up there. Now that's the danger. That is precisely the danger in this race, because this is where Karfan Hareb and Ed Collier, well, they did. They bought it last year, up on 1, trip on the 2nd, straight into the 3rd. That's the end of your race. Now Ferretti needs 30 points. He needs them badly. But 18's better than nothing, and if he goes on that way, it's going to be nothing. This is a challenge then for 3rd position, and it's Karfan Hareb and Ed Collier coming up on number 2, Saeed Otar and Felix Sorales. So the pressure now on the championship leaders, not only from the front, but from their compatriots behind, while this race developing into some occasion here. That's Crane in Jolly Motors. Well, he can only watch all this goes on there. The boat's ahead. You can see at times gaps in the wash. Keep an eye out for those. When that happens, of course, that means one thing: the boat's airborne. There's one. So this is a situation to watch very carefully. That's 16, 104.49 miles per hour on the last lap for the pole position leaders, Giancarlo Corbelli and Alberto Deridoni. The Italians never quite put it together in the Grand Prix. Well, fastest man on the course, as far as we know, number 7. Fastest men, I should say. Hamid Bouheleba, the steering wheel at the front. Randy Sisson behind. No luck still for Big Expo. Number 22, just 100.57 miles per hour for Massimo Lippi. Well, he's one of 8 boats in this fleet that is still averaging over 100 miles per hour. You have to say that you wouldn't have seen that 3 or 4 years ago. These speeds really are increasing dramatically. So number 9, Oakland, he too is over 100 miles per hour, picking it up a little bit here. 101.49 miles per hour for the Norwegian crew, urged on no doubt by the crowd here. They saw this crew win pole position in Arendal last year, but they didn't do too good in the competition this year, in that pole position competition that is. And so looking to do a little here today, but some ways to make up. Almost a mile and a half now down on this man, Lamberto Leone, with Eduardo Poli. Takes the turn once more into his favourite part of the course, and beginning to pull away on the last lap. They had a clear 30 seconds. Now if they can increase it a little more than that, they will have the luxury of being able to ease back on those throttles. And that's what they need to do in these conditions. Pushing the machinery is going to lead to breakdowns. It always does. And if you can get that lead and just come up that fraction on the throttles, it really does make a big difference. So number 2 then. No, it's not. It's number 3. In fact, I got that wrong. Number 3. So I think perhaps Karfan Hareb and Ed Collier have got ahead of number 2. Well, I'm not sure. I didn't see the picture that would confirm that. This is certainly Karain in 5th, 6th, number 16. We come to the end of the 3rd lap. So Power Marine then, keeping on the power, keeping on the pressure, everyone behind, keeping up the pressure, pushing them along, and he too being pressurized by number 7. So it's got to be up another place to 7th for Randy Sisson and Hamid Bouheleba. Well, the crowd on and off the water loving this one. there's an awful long way to go in it, of course. When they get to the end of this lap, it'll be 60.72 of the 158.7 miles gone, so there's still an awful lot of racing to do. Max Lippi then still looking for that little bit of magic that he found in Agrigento 3 weeks ago, but not quite found it here. Well, no one ever quite knows what causes things like that, propeller decision and so forth is important, no question about that. But sometimes it just doesn't go well on the day. Uglan then still over 100 miles per hour, but still down at the back there with number 21, San Orsollo. But this is a man then who leads it into the end of lap 3, number 24. And oh, well, look at that gap now. So it was 30 seconds. This looks like more than 30 seconds to me. Look at the air under the tunnel, right up on the pace this is. And well, I would have thought perhaps the 108 miles per hour average we're talking about here may be a little conservative. Of course, it does depend on the length of the course, naturally. So they come through now. We'll take a check on their speeds as soon as we get it. The gap between him and Ferretti, the Ferretti boat that is, with Ferrari and Poli, is the next interesting bit. Yes, looking very, very good indeed. Well, here they come then. So the time on Lamberto Leone at the end of that lap was 107.94, so he has eased up slightly. And but it is good, consistent racing, and confirmation there that Kalpan, Hareb and Ed Collier are up to third. So where is Sorales? Jolly Motors then, number 4 in 5th position, through in 34.55. So he's dropping back a little bit. This is Corbelli, 35.07, 104.99. He keeps the pressure on, and he needs to, because 105.24. And Sism and Buhaleba are faster. So just 2 to come now in this fleet. That's Expo Massimo Lippi, just under the 100 at 99. And he's going to be enclosed down by number 9 though. And Uglan still on 101.2 miles per hour. Well, even the Seagull's interested in this one. It's certainly turning out to be some race, but no doubt about who's dominating it. He's still there into lap 4. Remember, 60 plus miles gone now of the 158. At the end of the next lap, rather, it'll be 85.21, and past the halfway point. That's always psychologically the place to be. So then, will they get the unique double? Will this be the crew, the first crew ever since the WOC Series was introduced as a World Class 1 Championship back in '92? Will they be the crew to achieve the double pole position and Grand Prix? Or will Norberto Ferretti, sorry, not Norberto Ferretti, it's Luca Ferrari now, isn't it? Will Luca Ferrari then, with Vincenzo Poli in the Ferretti boat, that's what I meant to say. Can they do anything about this? So desperately need the win. I don't know. Oh, and Carrain has stopped. No orange flag. Carrain's out, so he obviously thinks, I think, that he can repair that. A lot of activity going on. He's out of the cockpit. So I was going to say, can Ferretti get that second win of the championship and give himself a chance? Well, who knows? Well, there's a wash here in front of Bilbao. Does that mean that Ferretti's gone through? Or are we starting to lap boats as we come towards the end of the 4th lap? Well, he looks slow to me. There's a problem here with Bilbao. Bilbao grinding to a halt. Oh, my goodness me. So that means that Ferrari will be where he wants to be. Now then. What's that all about? He was going, and here comes Ferretti, here comes Ferrari rather. So Leone was absolutely steaming through into the end of this 4th lap, then suddenly he stopped. Well, that's an absolute tragedy for the Italian. He did so well in Agrigento 3 weeks, well, underway again there, look. Did so well in Agrigento 3 weeks ago, and then suddenly it all went wrong for him. He broke a coupling. Well, he is underway again. He stopped there for several seconds. He's underway again now then. Can Ferretti get away? Can Ferrari rather get away? I'm sorry about that. I keep calling him Ferretti because it was Ferretti in the boat last year. This is the battle behind. And once again, it's number 2 who goes through against number 3 in the victory camp. So Felix Sorales and Said Ottar get that
that third position rather, back just. Enthralling stuff here for the crowd. And right behind, number 7. They were 7. This looks to me as if they might be 5th on the run-in at the end of lap 4. Well, this is awfully difficult to keep up with the goings-on here. Right behind them is Corbelli, so I think number 7 has gone up one more place. Well, I'm told that they were at 106.25 miles per hour. That's the number 7 crew, Hamid Bouhaleb and Randy Sism. So they could well, in fact, have gone up that place, if not one more. Wow. So Massimo Lippi, a spectator here, as is Andreas Uggland and Jan Hilstead. Not much they can do about it. They're well off the pace on the day. So what's going on ahead? Maybe we'll get those pictures shortly. Is it Ferretti? Is it Leone? The whole championship could rest here. This is Jacopo Carrane, number 4. He's underway again. So everyone went up one while he stopped and sorted out his problems. So Leone stopped to try and sort his out, whatever that was. And now Carrane has certainly sorted his out. But we've no idea as yet what's happening up front. That's Carrane well off the pace there. That's not surely not more than 70 or 80 miles per hour. Well, there's the battle between the two victory boats. Number 2, or is that's number 7 rather, on the right, and number 3, I think it was, on the left. Anyway, we'll pick up with that one in a minute, because this is Ferretti. Now then, is he in front of Leone? There's Ferretti. There's Leone. So Ferretti is in front at the end of lap 4. So 85.21 rather miles gone. This is Hareb and Collier then in 3rd position. Once again, they're clear. Yes, they are clear of Saeed Altai and Felix Sorales. Well, doing the teammates no favours there, because if it stays like that, let me check, the championship lead will be cut from 60 points down to 39. Though, still the roll continues for number 7 ahead there of number 16 here, Power Marine. So Sism and Bouhaleba still keep it going. This is still Lippi, number 22, Big Expo. He worked it on his boat before the next tour stop, and being caught now by Uggland. Well, difficult to say what is exactly wrong with number 22. This is Jolly Motor then. Jacopo Carrane on his way back up the fleet. He's got a lot to make up. So this is the new race leader then. Let's check on the times at the end of that lap. They were through in 48.13, 105.87 miles per hour. Well, Ferretti slowed down on that lap by 0.51 miles per hour, but it didn't matter, because he's taken the lead. I think I said Ferretti yet again there. I do mean Ferrari, assure me. So a little bit here for Leone to do. You know, at the end of the last lap, he was through on 48.19, 48 minutes, 19 seconds, that is, 101.37. So that's slower by 6.57 miles per hour. And this is Saeed Altai and Felix Sorales in trouble. Well, I had to say that really, look at the face of Sorales. So long a winner here in this season and the end of last season. That picture says it all. They're not in the cockpit at the back. They're not examining anything. They're out of this race for sure. Well, what a desperate face that is. Still, they will lead this championship. But if they know that Ferretti is in front, well, that could change an awful lot of things, because that means their 60-point lead would be down to 30. Well, what can you say about a picture like that other than utter dejection? I was talking about Bilbao before we got to this picture, and saying that down by 6.57 miles per hour, that was that stop. And well, really, this whole championship's changed round here. I'm not sure if Felix Sorales wasn't going for a cigarette there. Don't think he smokes, does he? But anyway, Saeed Altai on this side, explaining a few things. These are the championship leaders. They will still be the championship leaders at the end of the day. No one can take that away from them. 60 points they had won't be bridged for 2 races. But of course, another
Another failure in the next round would start to tighten things up just a little bit. So up in the third position then go Karl-Johan Reb and Ed Collier. Not up in two, but in fact consolidating that third position, because they did get past number 2, and clearly there was something going wrong from a long time back, and that now terminating the championship leaders campaign for 1995 here in Arendal. Well, number 3 team know all about that. Theirs was curtailed by quite a serious accident here last year, and number 7, Ahmed Bouhaleb and Randy Sissom, were watching that last year. They're watching that, watching the different situation here this time around. Now then, at the end of that lap, they were on 106.25 miles per hour, up 1.01 miles per hour for them, through in 49.08, but they've got a long way to go to catch this man. Now then, Ferretti with the wind under his tunnel, knowing that Leone is behind him. Now I wonder if he knows if Saeed Altar and Felix Sorales are out. They were behind him. Now if he's got any contact, he'll know that he has to finish this race now to completely change this championship, turn it round at this point of the season with 3 to go. Ferrari could finish up just 30 points behind. This is Bilbao, number 24. Now then, is number 3, Karl-Johan Reb and Ed Collier catching them up. Well, no picture to suggest that, although the wash in front looks pretty fresh, doesn't it? That's what I was going on. And certainly pressure coming from behind. I think perhaps number 7 has gone up another place here. That's yet to be confirmed also. So a lot of the reason for this is fuel loads getting lighter. We should technically see an increase in the speeds as the fuel load lightens up. But of course, this time of day, the wind increases very slightly. Quite often that is balanced by the fact that the sea gets a little choppier. So difficult to judge between the two, really. So Massimo Lippi then still holding on to what will be, I think, 6th position now, because the number 2 crew have gone, most certainly. So a few points on the table here for Big Expo. No points though for Ugland. He doesn't get any. He's not participated in sufficient Grand Prix this season to allow him to count for points. He's here because he wanted Class 1 racing to come to Arendal, along with Jan Hilsted, and their dream came true last year. What a great success that was, and what a great success it is this year. Now then, will it be a great success for these two? Luca Ferrari, Vincenzo Poli, number 1, coming into the end of the 5th lap. Wood, a lot of air there under the boat. Now they're going to have to be careful, and I don't know if this pressure's coming from Bilbao caddy behind Lamberto Leone and Eduardo Poli. Well, it certainly isn't, because that's number 3 going past the Bilbao crew. Well, they were almost past, and Lamberto Leone just shutting the door there slightly on Ed's Collier and Karl-Johan Reb. But they don't look in good shape, do they, the number 24 crew? This is going to be a change in 2nd position in the race. So it looks to me as if the Victory 3 crew know that number 2 have gone on. I'm sure they do know the number 2 crew have gone. Now then, they'll have to try and catch Ferretti to see if they can ease up that point situation by the end of this race. And that's a great start. They've left Leone and Poli. There they are. Now, whether there's still a problem with that boat is difficult to say, on how much this is the determination of the number 3 crew here for a Victory team to try and get past Ferretti. Well, that really is a very tall order indeed. Ferretti, not only does he have the gearboxes, he has the slightly quicker engines, he has the newer hull, and it really is an unfair challenge. And back once again with Victory 2. And under some way, so it looks to me as if well, I was just about to say one engine was not functioning there, but I didn't quite catch it. But certainly under some power, so one engine has got to be working. So it's my guess that there's trouble with one engine and one transmission. But just to repeat, what a great shame that is. So this is that 3rd position now for the early race leader. So the dream of winning the pole position and the Grand Prix in one season, at one event, eludes the Bilbao crew. Now then, they're going to lose another position here, because this is Hamid Bouhaleb and Randy Sissom coming through. Well, they dance side by side.
and can in fact the Victory crew, number 7, get onto the podium, because this is the battle for third position now, and Leone will fight this one all the way. There surely has to be a problem in Bilbao. He was so quick at the beginning of the race. 6 laps gone then. This is the run-in at the end, coming in towards the end of this race, and it looks to me as if Sism and Buhaleba have got it, so they should be on for the podium. Now then, this is the man with just that distance to go now. He comes in towards the run at the end of this championship. When I say end of the championship, this end of the championship round here in Arendal. He leads, and he leads quite considerably. Behind him, Khalfan Hareb and Ed Collier at number 3, but I'm pretty certain they can't do anything about that. There they are. And desperately they will try, and just to get in front would ease that point situation for their stricken teammates behind in number 2. But well, they're really, it's an unreal situation, isn't it? They couldn't seriously think get anywhere near that, as I said just a few minutes ago. So what drama this race has held. Oh, and there is number 7, so it's 2nd and 3rd for the Victory team, so it looks like 2 more podium places. What a remarkable run in the 21 Grand Prix since Victory team entered this championship. They have never not been on the podium, either in 1st, 2nd or 3rd place. They have achieved a 15 victories, I think it is, in that run. A remarkable achievement. They've also achieved 1st, 2nd and 3rd on 2 occasions. So this will be 4th position then, 5th position rather, for number 16. This is the run-in, and it looks as if it's going to be 30 points then for Luca Ferrari and Vincenzo Poli at the end of 158.7 miles. And with number 2 dropping out, that championship lead is now going to be cut to 30 points, and the Italians back in with a real chance of pulling off a remarkable win in the championship. Well, there's a long way to go, 3 races in fact, and there's the checkered flag awaiting. It is waved now, and so after almost one and a half hours, Luca Ferrari and Vincenzo Poli take the checkered flag for the 2nd occasion in 1994. 30 points theirs. The lead, in fact, will be down to 33 points, because I think Sorales and Altair will get 3, I'm told, because they completed that amount of the race. So Hareb and Collier then take 2nd, and they had to work hard for that. 18 points and a championship total now of 63 it will be for them. And I suppose you have to say now, with 90 points still available, they could still take the title. Well, what a remarkable race, and I keep saying that, what a remarkable race this has been, because it's literally changed everything around. So then it will be number 7 who will come in 3rd, and they've worked hard for that too. There's Ferretti then, the winners on the day, and the celebrations will begin, and Hareb and Collier, I'm sure, coming along to offer their congratulations, but the others some way behind. Oh, and that looks to me like Bilbao. So it's Bilbao that's going to finish 3rd. So Bilbao has got past the number 7 crew, and so has Corbelli. Well, I'm not sure what happened there. Well, there is number 7, Sism and Buhaleba, and Stricken 2. That is a stop-go policy. You can see occasionally the engines running. There they go, and then stopping. So no idea what that's about. And how are they going to make the line? They've got about 100 meters to go, and 3rd position's gone for them. It's Bilbao, Leone and Poli who finished 3rd. Wow. One final twist in this race at the end. These are the crews coming in to the podium. And that's Khalfan Hareb, and a little bit more like the form that they experienced in 1993 for the Dubai-based crew. There's Steve Curtis in the dark glasses, Mauro Ravenna waving the flag as always in the background, and well, this is going to be a disappointed crew. Well, they've gone there now. There they are, the red boat, Lamberto Leone and Eduardo Poli.
10 sets of props they tested yesterday. They went out 10 times, big crowd then up to welcome back the crews, but 10 times they went out to get it right. In the end, they got it slightly wrong. They had the breakage, and this is the crew then that is going to take the laurel and champagne at the end of the 5th round of the championship. Luca Ferrari, Vincenzo Poli in Peretti number 1. The second crew to the podium. Karpan Hareb leads. I was going to say Ed Collier following next, but it's the kids who go next, as always, with the Collier family, and rightly so. There's Ed Collier following him up, and this big, enthusiastic crowd here in Arendal. It really has been a pleasure to be here this weekend. I said at the beginning of this program, a beautiful country and beautiful people. I'm going to say that again now, because that's exactly what they are. So you can see the disappointment on the faces. Look at that. We saw it early on the number 2 crew with Felix Sorales and Saeed Altair, and Umberto Leone and Eduardo Poli, after their win in pole position yesterday, said they were going out there to win that Grand Prix today.
Luca Ferrari and Vincenzo Poli, today couldn't have worked out any better, could it?
No, definitely not. We had a good win. We needed it, and also Victory 2 that stopped on the way made us quite a lot of points on them on the World Championship, which I think it's good for everybody, because I think the World Championship is open again now, and it's going to make it much more interesting for everybody until the end.
Did you know that Victory 2 had stopped?
Yeah, we had it through the radio, they told us.
How did you feel at that point?
You know, at that point we didn't feel anything weird. I mean, there were still 2 laps to go, so we had to think about us to get to the end of the race, you know, before, until you get to the end of the race, you never know.
Okay. Luca, yesterday you said to me that you had to win today to stand any chance of winning the championship. Can you now win the championship?
Yes, it's possible, because yesterday I've speak with you, there's a possibility of win, because we have many chances with the Lamborghini engine, with the gearbox, because inside is very flat, outside normally is rough. Yesterday is a day difficult, because outside is very, very flat, and I remember the last year with a big wave and with the other possibility for win the race. But I think that today is a very incredible day, because for me, Vincenzo, and all the team, we are very, very happy, because we can have the chance for win the World Championship.
Okay, fine, Ed Collier, a little bit more like the old form of 1993.
Yeah, it is, but it's a little bit late. Well, anyway, you know, just today's race was good, you know. The sea conditions was acceptable. Our boat, you know, just, you know, it's old boat, heavy. We don't have the transmissions. It's, this result, we're happy with it, you know, just because we are in between 2 boats. They got more horsepower and got transmissions, and we are there with them, you know. And this is really encouraging for the next races.
Well, they had the result a little bit better than last year.
Oh, yeah, it was a little bit better. But anybody can stuff a boat. I mean, I said that wrong. Anybody can keep them dry. It takes work to get them wet.
Tell us a little bit about the race today. Not quite as bad as last year?
No, it wasn't as bad as last year as far as the height of the waves, but last year we were running with the waves, and it made the land a little softer when you'd come out of the water. This time, you'd come in sometimes, and it was just, you know, bone-crunching, back-breaking lands.
Did you know that Saeed Altair and Felix Sorales had broken down?
Yeah, we saw them in, I guess, in the 4th lap or 5th lap. And we really felt sorry for them, you know, just, but anyway, this is racing. I hope they come back the next race. So they will.
Well, and that's it from Arendal. The celebrations go on behind me and all around me. Well, of all the options we chose before and during the race, the one which said that Saeed Altair and Felix Sorales wouldn't finish and Luca Ferrari would win was probably the only one that we didn't get down to discussing. Well, that's the way racing goes. But one thing's for sure, it's certainly opened this championship up. So everyone takes a rest now for 6 or 8 weeks, and we'll be back then. The next round, the 6 rounds at Ostend. Who's going to win there? I don't know. You can find out by watching EDTV.
واليوم سيدور الحديث